Recently, the Houston Police Department says it dropped more than 4,000 sexual assault cases dating back to 2016. This was due to a lack of personnel. This is according to Police Chief Troy Finner. Here to talk about this is Representative Sylvia Garcia. Sylvia, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good to be with you.
Thank you. I don't know about you, but I do want to ask you, when you heard about this, did you find this to be disturbing?
Well, absolutely, especially when you think about the victims who suffered the trauma and the emotional drain and just going through a sexual assault and then reporting it, and now they're just waiting and not knowing what's going on with their cases. So I'm thinking about the victims. I'm thinking about their family members who are probably also just as distressed. And then we got to make sure that we also know where their rape kits are and the evidence involved. So you had to find out that all this was done for lack of personnel. It's just outrageous.
Yeah, it's disturbing and yet heartbreaking to know these cases are not cut and dry, to come up with the courage to be able to come forward and report these cases. We have so much faith in the system, and then for the system to fail us in this way, it's really heartbreaking. Talk to us about how Houston Area Women's Center is responding to this so-called lack of personnel.
Well, I served on the board of the Houston Area Women's Center for years, and obviously also have done a lot of work on military sexual assault. And again, it's about the victim and the trauma that they go through and the emotional distress that she and her family go through. And it is just, outrageous that the system has failed them. So I applaud the mayor in taking the bull by the horn and making them investigate all this and making sure that people will be held responsible and accountable for their lack of inaction. But it's just worrisome because, too, we've kind of been through some of this before when we had the rape kit scandal back in the 2011. We were under federal court mandate to follow certain mandates. And I think that's what's distressing to me is, it's the victims, it's the evidence, it's making the case, and some of these may be going as far back as 2016. So it may be hard to even find some of these victims, some of the witnesses. So I think that we need a full independent review to make sure that we make all the cases that we can and as quickly as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Have you had the opportunity to talk to any of these survivors impacted by this?
No, I have not. Okay. And I know that Chief Fenner asked the victims, survivors, to call or email the police department to give them an update. And even that is alarming because there should be a victims unit that it should have been in touch with the victims all this time, but I suspect that if they closed the cases, they just lost any communication with them. So it's gonna be hard to put the pieces together, but they need to do it, and they need to do it quickly.
Representative Garcia, for survivors listening to us talk right now, our conversation, your words, what do you want them to know?
Well, please know that the mayor is going to make sure that there is a full investigation, that people will be held accountable, and that this get done as quickly as possible. And they will take steps to ensure that this never, ever happens again. They should just, deep Tim, the lack of personnel coach should just be torn out of every page over there. Because in any crime, especially one as heinous as this, they should never not do the case because of the lack of personnel. You reallocate resources, you ask for more staff, and you do what it takes. Because I know in my office, if someone is out sick or someone is not there, we assign someone else to do the work temporarily to help and pitch in. So I think the mayor will need to work with the chief and the union to make sure that we meet these staffing issues. Because remember, it's about the victim, it's about the survivor, it's about making sure that we solve every crime.
Yeah. And when you take that oath of office, you take that voice. You're taking on that voice for so many people who don't have a voice. And so, yeah, to say this is certainly something that is going to need a lot of attention. It's almost an embarrassment for the department to have to come forward with this information. Well, we so much appreciate your time this morning, Representative Garcia. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us. Thank you.